To assemble your Allegro 2 tower, you have 2 items that come with the purchase: the plastic wrench or the knob tightener, the angled wrench, and then some items you'll need from home: a small knife or box cutter, some wire cutters, and hopefully you have a sitting box light or something similar to that shape with a towel or a blanket. Hi, I'm Christine, and we're here in the BB Garage. Today, I'm going to show you the unboxing and assembling of the Allegro 2 tower. So first, we have it in its box. You want to take a look at the attachment points on the box. You'll see there's staples all around, and there's some portions of tape, so you kind of have to look at the surrounding edges. I'm going to take a box cutter and carefully loosen where the tape is. Looks like there's one over here. And make sure, oh, it's pretty loose. Okay, I think I'm just going to pull to release the staple. So when you do this, you could be vulnerable to paper cuts, so just be careful. But you got to give it a good yank to really release those staples. Okay, or so I thought. There we go. Okay, now the tape needs to be sliced. Here we go. Very secure. I'm going to come around this side. That's easier. Okay. Now as I come around here, probably have more tape at this end, yes. Now, as with any of our equipment in its packaging, you just want to be careful using a box cutter so you don't scratch whatever's inside the box. There we go. Oh, okay, we have liftoff. So what I'm going to do, take that off. Okay. And then now we have inside. So now some boxes inside have things inside of them, and some of them are placeholders to keep the equipment and items sort of in place. This one feels empty. Just to be safe and sure, I'm going to open this and make sure I'm not missing any pieces that may be inside. Yep, empty. Okay. Now you can see all these other pieces of tape. I'm just going to loosen that, loosen that. All of this cardboard is protecting and holding the tower in place. Ta-da! Oh, beautiful. And let's take this out. Again, a light touch with that box cutter. So this is a heavy box. There's quite a few items of hardware in there, so I'm going to set this off to the side. And now there's some zip ties involved. So let's see if I have my pliers nearby. Da-da-da. Okay. So you'll see the zip ties are holding, oh, you know what? It's holding the push-through bar in place. I'm actually going to keep it there for now, so that's not swinging as I lift this out of the box. And then I'm going to grab my box cutter one more time just to loosen some of this plastic. All right, it comes out as one piece. So once I have this, I'm going to lift it out of the box, take it to the corner, and just set it to the side for a moment. Be careful as you do this. If you are going to set it against a wall, there are the storage eye bolts on this side, on one of the sides. Make sure they're facing outward so it's not resting against those on the wall. Just a quick tip, okay? Now I'm gonna make sure all of the pieces that were in the box have been taken out and then dispose of the big box. Okay, So we have the medium-sized box. Now what I'm going to do is open that and get a sense for what we have in here. Again, I'm going to carefully open this just with the very edge of the blade. See what we have in here. Okay, first and foremost, important information and some important pieces. So you'll get a manual, user manual, you'll get the safety bits, some coupons, so hang on to that. And then I'm gonna hang on to these, the bumpers. I think that's all I need in there for hardware. Okay, set up there for now. And I think I'm done with that. All right, now we have our tool situation. This is our cupping lock for the risers and or the tower. Our wrench, and these are gonna cover the holes where the risers will be removed from. Now the rest is more the springs and the straps and such, so I'm gonna set those off to the side. Okay, if we're going to place the tower on, we have to then take the risers out and take the end of the reformer out. So the best way to do that is to elevate this end of the reformer with a box. So I have a sitting box light, and I put a blanket or a towel over it just to protect that surface. So make sure it's not quite at the legs. This will go under the end of the frame. So as I lift this up, I'm going to slide this box underneath, line it up. Ta-da! Okay. Let's take the straps out, and then we're going to look at the, oh, still some plastic on these from earlier. We're going to look at the risers. So let's take these ropes out. Straps off. Because the risers will be replaced by pulleys on the tower. So down here, there's some knobs underneath. I'm loosening those knobs. They're the plastic ones. Good, those loosen and then drop down. Taking the straps and the ropes out of the risers. Feed that back through, and then these lift right out. Okay, so risers are off. Those will be replaced by these guys. So I'll take them out of the paper. This is what they look like. They've got one little metal loop on top. You can see it's got this little notch here, and that's going to fit inside. There's grooves there. It'll fit in between. So I lower that down, and then the metal is going parallel to the rail of the reformer. Same thing on the other side, and then tighten those up. Ta-da! There we go. Now, I can tighten those up, which I would want to with this little cupping sort of hand wrench plastic. I'll do that at the very end, so everything's said and done. Now, we've got to take this end off in order to get the tower set in between the end of the reformer and the frame. So that means I've got to go underneath and loosen these bolts. I'm going to lie down. Lefty-loosey. The unique shape of this wrench is so that you can get around that bolt to loosen the other one. All right, so I've got these bolts off. There's the other one. Okay, 4. Now I'm going to take the end of the reformer off. Carefully. Okay. Set this off to the side. So you can see on this end, we have bumpers, the rubber bumpers, and that is protecting the paint, protecting the metal against metal. I'm going to remove these. Maybe a little easier said than done. Take a little peeling, there we go. Okay, 1 and 2. Now remember the little bag of bumpers from earlier when we were unboxing, those will be replaced on a different part of the reformer. So I'm setting that off to the side. Now, coming over to the tower, these plastic pieces, we're gonna take this all off, and we have to take the holders off of the actual tower in order to assemble it onto the frame. That is loud plastic. Okay. Okay. Now let's lie this down so I can take these off. May work a little better. And you might need a box cutter or a blade for that plastic. That's good, it's protecting the, there we go. So you remember those, you can see them underneath the end of the reformer, the round plastic knobs that tightens off where the risers were. Same thing that tightens off where the tower connects. So the reason I'm saying that is because I'm going to loosen those here. I could show you. I'm going to loosen those here. There we go. Make sure you loosen it all the way, and that will slide off. The other side. Same thing here. I'll tip it so you guys can see. There we go. Take that off. Okay, we'll get to the tower in a second. Let's set this down carefully. And then let's get our bumpers. So you'll see here, these have the same angle and the holes for those screws there. They're gonna slide in. But we have to put the bumpers back on. So I take the bumpers, and it comes with a couple of extras, which is always nice. And a cleaning agent, alcohol swab. So I'm going to take this alcohol swab here, and I always double check, okay, yes, knob is down, I'm on this side. So I'm gonna place this in between the holder here and the frame, just like it was when it was with the end of the reformer. So on this side, I take that alcohol swab. I'm gonna clean this little area here. And while I'm at it, I'll do the other one too. So again, orient that one with the angle, and I'm doing, oh, this side. There we go. Okay, put that face up. Now I grab my bumper, take little plastic off, and I'm gonna make sure that it goes in between those two holes. So fingers crossed that we have it in the right spot, and ta-da, we did. Okay, so it lays flat against that. I'm gonna place this one, same thing, right between those two holes. Give it a little press. And yep, lays flat. We are good. Okay. Now, I'm gonna leave these open because once we set the tower in, that's when we'll tighten those knobs. Now we take the end of the reformer, the end cap, and you wanna line these up as best you can with the big screws. And then the metal pegs kind of sit in. You gotta jiggle it a little bit so it sits all the way on there. And then we've got to put those bolts back on underneath. Tighten it up. I usually tighten them first with my hands as much as I can, and then I'll come in with the wrench at the end. Oh, here we go. That's better. It's always good to wiggle it around a little bit. Make sure that's all the way flat on there. Good. Not much wiggle room. Just like we like it. Okay. Now let's get these extra bumpers out of the way. We'll save them for later if we need them. Tighten this off. Righty-tighty. Again, always nice with that curved wrench. All right, finishing up this last one, nice and snug. Okay, so we've got that all secure. So last things really, we're gonna actually put the tower in. So I'm going to take the box out from underneath so this is level with the ground. Can deal with the straps at the end here. And I'll lift this up with my legs, of course. Slide this out. Okay. Now, move our sitting box out of the way. Okay. I'm gonna make sure that those storage hooks I mentioned earlier that we wanted to make sure were away from the wall as it was resting against the wall, those are going to stay facing towards me as I put the tower in. So I always take a moment, I'm like, okay, here they are facing out. And now, so you can see there's a little space there. It's not fitting all the way down. You might need to wiggle it a little bit and then check these at the bottom. I'm gonna make sure that it goes all the way down. Okay? I think we're in business. So by hand, I'm gonna tighten up these plastic knobs, and then I will grab my handy dandy knob tightener, technical term, of course. Make sure that's very secure. So I have to find it first. Oh, here it is. Now we also want to make sure we tighten those that we placed in earlier, the replacement for the risers, where this is the downward connection for the springs if it's downloaded or from below. Now I'm going to tighten this. Pretty tight, pretty snug. Same thing on the other side. Oh, I think we're good. Yeah, okay. And now underneath. Now I could have done this one when the box was still, or when the frame was still elevated on the sitting box, but I just figured grabbing one tool at a time and do everything I need with it. And same thing over here. It's always good to tighten these when you're gonna load that area with springs. Okay, now let's finish off kind of setting things up. I'm gonna take my pliers and now I can get rid of that zip tie here, holding that push-through bar in place. So that's free. But I don't love this swinging around. So I'm actually going to hook it up with our safety strap. I'm gonna take my Velcro off, bring this around the front, and attach it here with the safety strap. I'm gonna take my carabiner off. And then hook this around. That way, as I'm walking around this, I'm not vulnerable. There we go. Okay. Ropes. Let's get our ropes back through. Now we take one. We're going to go through the pulley. I'm going to go from underneath, but it spirals, so it doesn't really matter which way you put it through. Then I take our soft touch loops. I put the rope through the strap and I thread that loop through. Okay, I'll do that again on the other side. So I take, first I feed this through the pulley. Now I take my foot strap. I go through with the rope, I go through the foot strap. I then take the actual loop through that rope and feed it through. Okay? Now once I put it on here, you can see there's some looseness left in the rope. So I have the shoulder blocks in place, I have the straps over them, and then I have this lever on the side closest to me. So if you're relying on your back, it's the left side of the headrest. I pull that lever and it cinches the ropes tight. So that's all set. Let me take one more look around. Oh, our springs. So let's set up our springs. Now, depending on the exercises you're going to do, obviously that's where you're going to place your springs. For right now, I'm going to place them on the back and on the storage hooks above. So you have 2 long purple springs, you have 2 long yellow springs. You have 2 short yellows and 2 short blue springs. So that's what comes with your tower. Let's place the blue on the storage hooks in the back. And you have the maple roll down bar. Attach that. And then we have 2 soft touch padded straps. Well, I should put those on the purple, so that's where they're going to be used the most. There we are. All right, now that we have the springs set up on the tower, I don't want to forget about the mat conversion because that's what goes into the reformer bed to utilize the tower springs. So let's grab that. Bring this over here. Again, anytime we're opening up a box with upholstered, well, anything, but especially with upholstered pieces, you want to make sure you very gently open just the tape portion of the seal. And I'm going to take a look here. As I open it, I can see that the wood end that slides under the standing platform is at this end. So let's tilt the box. I have 2 pieces of foam here. I'm just going to set off to the side. And there is more foam inside, but what I want to do, make it easy on myself, I'm going to start to take the mat conversion out, and then I will slide it out of the box. Okay. Once I have that, looks good, beautiful. Let me set that here, and let's prepare the reformer to set that mat conversion in. So we take the springs off, slide the reformer carriage all the way up, and then taking that mat conversion with the wooden piece here, slide it under, right down the center, It's perfectly in there. Okay. Now, this was the unboxing and the assembling of your Allegro 2 with a mat conversion and a tower.